My name is Roger Hinds. I'm from Seal Beach, California, and this is the Nomad. And what this board is in the early 1990s, most of the boards that were being ridden were longboards or what they would call egg shapes at the time. So there was really no hybrid board, and what I mean by that is a hybrid is kind of a blend of several different shapes, more of a high performance and more of a fun board shape. So what I did in the early 90s was I took a gun rocker that I was building guns with that have more curve in the outline, which is just the opposite of an egg or a longboard. It has more flatter entry and flatter exit rocker. And I put what I would call a mid-range outline to it. So what this did was give you a larger planing surface to where you could push the board through flatter sections of the wave. However, the curve in the entry would allow you to turn up instead of out. I keep all the thickness right here. About 4 inches from the stringer on each side is the thickest part of the board. Because I want the board to be able to catch waves and go over flat sections of the waves real easy. However, I will keep the rail down low. So you'll find that if you buy this model in the longer version, it's going to be thicker in the center. However, you're going to have that same rail. Because what happens with the thicker rail, when you go to turn, it'll push back on you. You'll physically feel the board push back on you. So I try to keep the thickest part right here in the center and the rail real thin, so it's real responsive. I keep a real flat entry rocker to where it's real user-friendly. What I find with the boards with the single concave, and basically what Kelly and top pros are riding, they don't fit. They don't fit everybody. You have to really keep those boards pushing and moving to make them move. This board is going to go through the water real fast and smooth. Has a real flat entry. From about a third up, it goes into a V with a double concave to where as you push on the board, you'll build pressure. And this board will go faster and faster and change directions very well. All of my rockers depend. It doesn't matter if it's a big wave gun, it doesn't matter if it's a longboard. You're going to ride those boards standing kind of in the same place unless you're riding the nose. So I have a high point in the bottom rocker right here. So it's in between your feet. So everything from right here runs forward. So when you're running down the line and you're heavy on your front foot, this board is just running free. And then as you're coming around the corner and you're pulling this thing back, this high point right here allows it to fall back to here, and you can do a windshield wiper turn like that, and the board will just continue to move. There's no hesitation. This happened to be my biggest seller for about 15 to 20 years. It rides everything really well. It's kind of like your one and done shape. You can pack this board up, and that was the reason behind the Nomad name, is because it's a perfect travel board. You can take this board and ride it, I feel, in a lot of conditions, and it's going to work really well. I make it in a 5-fin setup. Up to 6'8". This board is interchangeable with the Roger Hinds twin fin template, or a 3-fin or a 4-fin. After 6'8", the fin box placement changes to where the twin fin falls off, and you can no longer use that. But up to 6'8", all of my models are ridden as a twin, a 4, a 3, or a 2+1. They all work. The fin placement has just been an accumulation of. I worked with a guy from Spain at Blue Hawaii in the early 90s. His name was Bruce McKee. He was a genius with 4-fin setup, long before people were really riding the things. And so I learned a lot about the fin setup from him, and we've kind of kept it through the years. And I still think today that Jerry Lopez uses this same placement, not because of what I came up with, but more of what Bruce McKee came up with, and we kind of worked kind of the same thing. Really happy with the way these boards turned out. They're really clean, constructed very well. The edges are exactly where I wanted them to be. And I think that becoming part of the Surf Tech family is a win for me, especially because I can only build so many boards. And their footprint worldwide is going to make it to where people can have my product that I couldn't get to them. And again, the most important thing to me is that I build every board from start to finish myself, is because of the fact quality is the end word. That is the end of the line for me. If it's not quality, it doesn't go out the door. And these boards are incredible. They're just constructed exactly how I thought they would be. We're producing a Fusion HD constructed EPS epoxy surfboard. And the majority of the reason behind this is I find the quality very, very high, much like what I build in America. EPS foam and epoxy resin is what I would consider a time bandit as a surfboard builder, because of the fact it takes a fair amount of time to produce these type of boards and some space. So what I do is I build 100 boards a year myself from start to finish out of polyurethane and polyester resin. So what I've done is join the Surf Tech team for a couple of reasons. The boards are constructed very well, and they're EPS, and they're basically the same model I make, or the same models I make in America, but they're made from Surf Tech.